Alright guys, this is a video we're going to do from the fitting stages on these receivers. All the welding's been done on this one and the minor fitting, just clearancing on the inside so your rails will go in, so your cam section goes on, all that kind of stuff. We do fit these exclusively to the BRP internals. That's just how we run. We've got our method of building these down pretty good where we have them pretty darn reliable. I mean, it's a semi-auto, so they're never 100% reliable, but our guns are pretty reliable as far as that goes. We will be modding the charging handle on this. I might not show you detailed shots, but we'll give you a general overview of what all goes into these. The hammer gets fit on these to clearance the backside of the bolt carrier. If you don't fit it properly, you'll actually run into the rear end here, and it will make your gun go full auto sometimes. So something to watch for. At any rate, we haven't even lasered this one or got it on the manufacturing book yet. We've just finished this receiver, so you guys are going through the whole process. So what we're going to do is figure out what the serial number is going to be on this guy. We're not allowed to make the same serial number twice on any model, so we got to kind of watch that. What we try to reuse original markings here when we can for serial numbers, just for originality purposes. We still have to mark our manufacturing information on all of these. We do that here on the bottom side. And we'll show you that process here. That's going to be the first thing, is get the serial number, getting it on our manufacturing book, getting it engraved. That way this is a legal gun and we can continue to build it. So this is technically a receiver at the moment, but we're building it into a rifle. So when I put it on the books, we're going to put it in there as a rifle. This is not a post sample, this is a semi-auto. It does have the grip lug removed, the blocking bar installed, the cutout for the semi-auto components. So full auto components will not go on this receiver. At any rate, a lot of this is just paperwork crap, but it's part of the process, so we get to see all the process. Music in the background, I can't just work in the silence. This particular receiver isn't actually marked MG42, so that's part of the stuff we're going to have to mark on the markings there. Not a big deal. Alright, so it's on the books, boring part's done. Put this back in the safe. Next part's going to be, we take it out and engrave it. So away we go to the engraving machine. Glamorous laser machine. Nothing real fancy. We got this on eBay a couple of years ago when we really started heavily producing the 42s. It just made our life so much easier, so much easier. This is out in one of our open air bays, non-air conditioned sections of the building, just so this thing can breathe. You're creating dust, plus there's lasers, and people, in the showroom and stuff don't need to be looking at the lasers. So this is the glamorous machine though. We engrave our stuff on here and go on to the next steps. So y'all can just hang out there for a minute and we'll get this thing fired up. Typically run the program twice, just to make sure we get good penetration on the engraving. Y'all are welcome to watch, or we can just skip it. I vote we skip it. All right, guys, back from the laser, got it all done here. We're gonna fit the rails. Right rail. See this machined flat? This is the front of the rail. That's the top of the rail. So that is your right hand rail. Left rail is going to have the same kind of thing, except for it's going to face the opposite direction. There we go. See that? But the left rail also is machined from here all the way. That's where your recuperator sits. So the first thing we're going to do is actually install the recuperator on this thing. What could be a pain, especially on the semi-auto guns, is making sure that this guy sits all the way around in this slot enough. If it doesn't, you'll never be able to get it in the gun. Well, at least it makes it very difficult, especially when the rails are installed. Install the front stud and nut. Just barely secure it up. Not real tight, you don't want to lose. What will happen is that stud will be popping out of the recuperator on you. Wedge the recuperator down into place. There we go. Tighten the screw back up. Now we install the rail temporarily with a bolt. Like I said, we start with the left. Holes all line up pretty good. So we'll get one of the front two rivets installed. It's one of the processes that I don't show. Every magician has their tricks. So anyways, we're getting ready to install these rails. Alright, front two, rear runner done. On the left side rail, we'll jump over to the right side rail. Same thing, we just take a little bolt, stick it through the center rivet here, get it in the receiver, and then crush some rivets. Alright, so we got 6 rivets installed, the front 2 and the rear 1 on both sides. You can do some preliminary fitting here on your rails with your bolt carrier. This is about the point where we like to do the charging handle mods. This recuperator needs another mod. It needs to cut out for the top. Needs a little clearance for this lug right here. You can take your bolt carrier and see if it's going to ride smooth. And I can already tell this one's going to need some love. These are surplus rails. Plus the receivers have been torch cut. So we'll get that fit here in a minute. But we'll go ahead and do the mods we can do in here. Listen, I just want to tell you, some of the tools you're about to see me use are used under the supervision of professionals here. So Dr. Email was nice enough to, or Emil, Dr. Emil was nice enough to send us one of his prototype tools for us to use. So we are under the supervision of professionals. All right, again, thank you, Dr. Emmel, for sending us one of your tools. Next, we're modding the charging handle. The leg here on the charging handle is too long for the AR-15 fire control group, so you got to shorten that leg. This is something I've talked about before, how we bend our receivers. If you pay attention here, just finished modding this charging handle to run this receiver, got the tip cut down, got the receiver back half where we welded it, kind of fitted. Stop, dead stop. That's hitting that front lug on the grip stick. You have to lower the front lug on the grip stick. How do you do that? You bend the receiver. If you're afraid to bend your receiver, go buy an MG3 manual. Look how it tells you to repair and correct an MG42, MG3 receiver. Hit it with a hammer. So don't be afraid of it. Now, why do we do that, ladies and gentlemen? To clear this lug. Charging handle smacks right into that. I don't know if you can see the mark on there a little bit-ish, whatever. Anyways, charging handle smacks that. You got to lower this front. There's always fitting you got to do with these charging handles and stuff. We've lowered this tit, leg, whatever you want to call it. We've ground this out a little bit to get it more of a sharp angle, otherwise it's kind of really rounded. Now what we got to do, that step up, we got to clearance that a little bit, just back to where it's even with this shaft. You'll see it on your charging handle. The Dr. Emmel tool works very well. See how we ground that out? Them Dr. Emmel tools, man, I'm telling you, when they hit the market, you guys are going to want to get one of those. Alright, that grip stick's also going to have to be clearanced, which is not uncommon on these. I might be able to clearance a little bit more on this charging handle if we get it back out. A little bit of clearance on that grip stick and we'll be good there. Now we're going to put the recuperator back in, make sure it's clear for the grip stick. Then we'll go on to actually grinding the rails and fitting those for the carry. This lug right here is what we got to fit. You can see it hitting just a little bit. You just bring that down just a little bit. Typically what we'll do is bring that ridge down flat and everything jives and clears. While we're in here, we'll go ahead and fit the rest of the pieces apart before we go out and do the rest of this stuff. It's typically what I'll do. I'll get the cam section fit. This one also needs the barrel door put on it. We've got a BRP style crush rivet, bushing, whatever the hell you want to call it, to replace the ones that they grind out here. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled programming. We got the barrel doors installed-ish. We still got to crush those rivets. We can do that in a minute. Just want to test fit the barrel. Recuperator's already in it, so we're going to test fit that recuperator, make sure there's nothing in there that's going to hang us up and keep the barrel from reciprocating. Well, that just fell in like butter. That's always nice. That recuperator is going to need some spring attention, but the barrel is returning forward, it's not getting hung up, so we're good there on that as far as that aspect goes. Now it's a matter of getting the last 4 rivets done and fitting the bolt carrier to the rail, fitting the rails to the bolt carrier so that everything runs smooth. So that all happens out in the grinder. All right, we're here in the super secret lab, getting ready to do the fitting on the hammer, which is done over the grinder. We're going to fit the rails for the carrier. We're also going to put the rivets in the other 4 holes for the rails, 2 on each side. I've already got our patent pending rivet lock inside here. So go ahead and use our ultra secret method. Alright, now we'll move on to fitting the rails with the carrier. If you remember from a little while ago, we tried to put this in, she didn't want to go, so now that we have all the rivets in, we can do all the rest of the fitting. got that all fitted. I think we're ready to go back inside and get the rest of the parts fitted and see if we can get it charged and ready to actually test fire. All right, we're back. Riveting the receiver. We got that all done and tidied up. We got the rails fitted. We got the hammer fitted. Now we're gonna fit all the parts to it and see if we can get the action to work properly. So. Fire inspector came by. All right, back to work. We're gonna get this thing all fitted and rocking and rolling. All right, so we got that fitted. You can see there, charging it, holding the trigger, letting it go and releasing. It is resetting the hammer. Sometimes what'll happen is it'll actually smack the hammer off the disconnector and cause it to go multiple shots at a time. So we got the hammer fitted properly, and this guy's ready to put the rest of the parts on and test fire. So. This gun was torch cut here in the front, torch cut here under the cam, torch cut here in the mid of the rear receiver, and also cut here in the rear. It is a 42 gun. Does have dirty birds, if you have a focus. You can see them down here. There's one there and there's one here as well. Again, this is a semi.